Hello everyone. So today's topic of discussion is the basics of percentages. So this is more of an application based chapter and less about theory. And in this chapter we'll be discussing things such as the basic conversion on which this entire chapter is based upon. Once you've understood the basic conversion, then we'll move on to some basic examples so that you understand like how do you convert percentage into an absolute value, or how do you convert absolute value into percentages. Once we're done with that, then we'll understand some important statements, okay, which you need to know because this chapter is also about how do you put up words. Then the next thing that we'll understand is what is the percentage change, what is the formula for percentage change, how do we need to use it. And once done with that, then we'll move on to successive percentage changes. So you can have like two percentage changes one after the other, or you can have more than two percentage changes also, that's also applicable. Once done with that, then we'll move on to application of percentage changes. Okay, so this is all the theory part that we have to cover up, and then after that we'll be looking at almost 10 examples, 10 different type of questions which you need to solve, or which we'll be solving, so that you can bridge the gap between the theory part and the question part or on the application part, because this chapter doesn't really have theory, it's just your understanding of the chapter and how do you proceed with the questions, nothing else is there. All right, so let's get started. The first thing that we need to understand is the basic conversion. So what do I mean by that? So when you talk about this chapter percentages, there are like two things you need to know. First is percent, second is an absolute value. Now absolute value, when you talk about this term absolute value is something that can stand on itself. Like for example, let's suppose if I say that I have 10 apples. Now I know what 10 apples is, and if I convey this message to someone else, that other person will also understand what is meant by the term 10 apples. So when I say I have 10 apples, it can stand on itself. We can imagine what is 10 apples or what are 10 apples. On the other hand, if I say that I have 10% of the apples, on the other hand, if I say that I have 10% of the apples, the very next question the other person is going to ask is 10% of what? The very next question that the other person is going to ask is 10% of what? So the point is, when you talk about this term percentages, it cannot stand on itself. It requires a base value. It requires a base value. It cannot stand on itself. For example, give me 50% of your money. Now you need to know how much money you have in your pocket or in your purse so that you can give me 50% of what you have, right? So for example, I scored 90% of the marks. Now what happens in general cases that we do assume the fact, or it's universal, that usually the maximum marks is 100. What if the maximum marks is not 100? In that case, 90% I cannot calculate. Like if I simply say I scored 90% of the marks, then the question is what are your total marks or what are your maximum marks? So when you talk about this term percentage, it requires a base value, it requires a reference value. This is what is meant by this term percentages. So whenever we talk about the term percentages, there are two basic conversions around which this entire chapter revolves. That is, how do we convert an absolute value to percentages, and how do we convert percentage to an absolute value? These are the two things you need to understand. So in order to understand both of them, what we're going to do is we're going to take a simple example. We're going to take a bag having 10 balls. Okay, I have a bag having 10 balls. Let's say out from this bag having 10 balls, I randomly pick any 4 balls. From this bag consisting of 10 balls, I randomly pick any 4 balls. So the question is, what is the percentage of balls that I've picked up? So how many balls did I pick up? 4 out of how many? 10. So what will be the percentage? So whenever you need to go from an absolute value to percentage, what do you do is you take that absolute value, you divide by the total quantity. I'm writing total quantity as TQ, and you multiply that by 100%. This is the required quantity, which is 4 multiplied by 100%. So this will simply give you your answer as 40%. So whenever you want to convert an absolute value into percentage, what you do is you take the required quantity, you multiply by total quantity, and you multiply by 100%. Okay, so 4 divided by 10 into 100%, that's simply 40%. Or in other terms, you can also remember this way: you take the fraction and you multiply by 100%, so that's like 40%. So either you remember it like required quantity by total quantity into 100%, or you can remember this as fraction multiplied by 100%. Either way, you'll get your percentage value. Second is when you talk about the conversion from percentage to absolute value, let's try and understand that also. Again, I have a bag consisting of 10 balls. Let's say this bag, from this bag, I have picked up 80% of the balls. From this bag, which consists of 10 balls, I have picked 80% of the balls. So how many balls did I pick up? So if you want to convert percentage to absolute value, how do you do that? You take that percentage, you divide by 100%, and you multiply by total quantity. So this is required percentage divided by 100% and multiplied by total quantity. This will give you your answer as H. Okay, so two basic conversions: how do you convert absolute to percentage, and how do you convert percentage to an absolute value? You need to know both the conversions. Okay, this is the base of percentage. All right, let's move on. So let's take a couple of simple examples. So let's say I have a class of 20 students, and if I, from these 20, if I pick, let's suppose 8 students, so how many students did I pick, or how many students did I choose? So it's going to be simply 8 divided by 20 into 100%. So we can solve this. This will become 5. So if you're picking 8 students out of 20 students, you're basically picking up 40% of the students. Okay. All right. Now, since the entire chapter is about this conversion, so there are basically like two types of questions that can be asked. The two types of questions are based on change and the final value. Whatever type of question, like whether the question is asked in the form of words or whether in form of variables, there are only two types of questions that can be asked from this entire chapter, that is change or final value. There is no third type of question that can be asked. Okay, so let's try and understand both the things. So let's say I have a value A and I increase this value A by 40%. What will be the change and what will be the final value? What will be the change and what will be the final value? Now, if you observe carefully, you would realize that change in terms of percentage is already given to you, that the value is increased by 40%. That the value is increased by 40%. So you can convert that into an absolute value, right? You will take that percent, you will divide by 100%, and you'll multiply that by the total quantity, which will simply give you 0.4. So whether you say that A is increased by 40% or A is increased by 0.4A, it's one and the same thing. There is no difference. And when you talk about final value, that is always the initial value plus the change. That is always the initial value plus the change. And when you talk about change, your change can be positive, your change can be zero, your change can be negative also. So change can be positive, negative, or zero. All three are possible. The example that we are discussing as of now, which is on the left, we are talking about positive change because the value has increased. So if you say A is increased by 40% or A is increased by 0.4A, it's one in the same thing, there is no difference. So the final value will simply become A plus 0.4A, which is equal to 1.4A, which is equal to 1.4A. Okay. There are other ways of writing this also. For example, I can also say that if I'm increasing A by 40%, then I can say this will become A plus 40% of A, or A plus 40 by 100 into A. So you can also rewrite this as A plus 4 by 10 of A. Or you can also rewrite this as, you can take A common, this will become 1 plus 4 by 10. Or you can rewrite this as A 1 plus 40 by 100. Or you can rewrite this as A into 140 by 100. Now, what's the reason of me telling you this second form? The reason is that what's going to happen in the exam, they will not give you these simple expressions. They will not give you these simple expressions. What they'll do is they'll try to make things bit more complicated, and they'll say that A is increased by B%, let's say, suppose. Now you can solve this question using both the ways. I'm not denying that. You can either use the first way also, that if it's increased by B%, the change will simply be B by 100 into A, which is equal to AB by 100. And you can rewrite this as A plus AB by 100. Okay. Or you can say that it's, if it is increased by B%, it's A plus B% of A. So which is again A plus AB by 100. Which will lead you to, you can take A common and this will become 1 plus B by 100. So this form is important for you to know. This form is important because sometimes in option you will get your answer in this form. So you should not get confused like from where did this A into 1 plus B by 100 came from. Okay. So for example, let me just repeat this once more for you. So if I'm increasing this A by B%, the change will be AB by 100. Or if I'm increasing A by B%, my final value will be A plus B% of A. Why plus? Because there's an increment. So it will be A plus AB by 100. Then you can take A common and this will become 1 plus B by 100. You will get this form in the exam. Usually you do get. And they don't typically use numbers when it comes to percentages. They typically use variables. Okay, that's the reason why I've taken this example. Similarly, instead of an increase, the value can be decrease also. So for example, let's suppose I have this expression A and let's say I am decreasing this by B%. Or let's take numerical value first of all. I'm decreasing this by, let's suppose, 20%. So what will be the change? What will be the absolute change? Absolute change will be 20% by 100% into A, which is equal to 0.2. Now since there is a decrement, so your final value will become A plus minus 0.2A. The change is negative. So this value will become 0.80. This value will become 0.80. You could have written this in a different form also. If it is decreasing by 20%, so you can say that it will become A minus 20% of A. That is A minus 20 by 100 into A. And that will become A 1 minus 20 by 100. That will again lead you to the same result. It's not that you'll get a different result, it's just different ways of writing one expression. That's it. There will be no difference as far as the result is concerned, so you don't have to worry about that. Okay. All right. Now, since this entire topic revolves around these two types of questions, that is change and the final value, so there are like couple of statements which you need to know, which will help you in solving the questions. Okay, you're going to understand those couple of statements which will help you. So let's see what they are. So first one is A is 200% of B and A is 200% more than B. You will find these statements of more than, you will find these words. Definitely you will do that in the exam. That this is what something that makes percentage bit difficult, otherwise it's a very easy topic. So when I say of, when I use this word of, remember that whenever you use of, it stands for the final value. So when you say that A is 200% of B, so A is 200% by 100% into B, which will give you A is equal to 2B, which will give you A is equal to 2B. Similarly, you can also have like P is 350% of Q. Again, of stands for final value. So you can say that P will be equal to 350% by 100% into Q, which will give you P is equal to 3Q. I can also give you these examples in terms of, let's suppose, variables. So for example, if I say that P is X% of Q, I can give you this also. So what will happen? P is equal to X by 100 into Q, so that is XQ by 100. This is also a possibility. It's not necessary that you will always get numbers. You can also get like variables. That's also a possibility. P is P% of Q, so P is equal to PQ by 100. But the concept, whether you do it for numbers or whether you do it for variables, remains the same. The concept doesn't change. So when you use this word of stands for final value. Similarly, when you talk about this term more stands for change. So when you say A is 200% more than B, so you can say that your change first of all is 200% by 100% into B, which is equal to twice of B, and A is 2B plus B, which is equal to 3B. A is 2B plus B, which is equal to 3B. Now, the same thing can also be asked in terms of variables. For example, I can say that A is B% more than B. Now, this confuses students. In the first one would usually not confuse a student, but the second one does. So A is B percent more than B. Now what is B percent of B first of all? Because when you talk about this term more than here again stands for change. It's not that for variable the definition changes. More than again stands for change. So what is change? Change is B by 100 into B, which you can either write B square by 100 also. So what will become of A now? So A will now become B plus B square by 100, which you can also rewrite as B into 1 plus B by 100. Again you can see this expression. But I hope the concept is clear, like what we are doing and why we are doing this. That's more important. Okay. You can have other statements such as A is increased by 200% of its value. And I can give you one more statement. And that will be A is increase to 200% of its value. Again you can see the words of and to. Sorry, second one is increase to, not of, my mistake. Oh, I'm underlining the wrong word. I'm really sorry. The words I want you to focus on is by and to. Okay, the words I want you to focus on is by and to. Again you can see different words. So again when you talk about this term by, what does this term by stands for? By here again stands for change. So what is change? Change will be 200% by 100% into A, which is like twice of A. And what will be the final value? The final value will be A plus 2A, which is thrice of A. The change is 2A and the final value is A, 3A. So when you talk about this term by again stands for change. By again stands for change. Now instead of giving you like 200%, I can also give you the question like A is increased by, let's suppose, m% of its value. Now by again stands for change. So change here will be m by 100 into A, which is like ma by 100. And my final value will become A plus ma by 100, which is nothing but you can take A common, this will become 1 plus m by 100. So again you can see this expression. Okay, so these are like some keywords which you need to understand, which will help you in understanding like how to solve a particular question. Once we'll start solving the questions, you'll automatically realize it yourself, like why did we do these things, why do we need to know what by stands for, why do we need to know what more than stands for. Come to the second one, that is to. So when you talk about this term to, it stands for the final value. So what is the final value? That's 200% by 100% into a, which is again twice of a. In this case also I can say that, okay, let's increase a by m% of its value. So the final value in this case will become m by 100 into a, which is like am by 100. So there is no difference. Like usually what I have observed that my students face difficulties. They say that, okay, so we are comfortable with numbers, but we are not comfortable with expressions, with variables, with xyz. There is no difference. That's the point. You take m, you take p, you take 100, you take 40, it really doesn't matter. Your basics should be clear. That's the only concern we have. Okay, that's the only thing you need to understand here. So this is more or less everything that you need to know regarding the basics and the important statements. So let's keep it till here as far as this first basic videos on percentages is concerned. And in the next one, we'll be starting off with percentage change, successive percentage change. Those are basically the applications of percentages. So we'll discuss those things also. And once we have discussed those things, then we'll move on to the questions. All right. So thank you so much for this video. I hope you have enjoyed it. I hope you have learned something. So keep watching and keep learning. Thank you so much for your time.